So, hello guys and welcome from Essen, Germany, back in the Card Shark office. There's let me introduce to you the one and only Card Shark. There we go. Guys, welcome back. It's Monday and yeah.
Today we have a very interesting topic. We are talking about false shuffles. What is a false shuffle? Well, you know what a shuffle is. If you are not talking about dancing. No. We have a deck of cards. We need to mix it well. And, well, at least for the spectator, we want to have the full control. Maybe keep it in a complete stack that we already set up, where all the red cards are separated from the black cards, where we have them in mnemonic order whatsoever. We want to keep the deck in our order that we want, but we have to pretend that this deck is well shuffled. For this, we have false shuffles, false cuts, and other handlings, and we will go through with this with you. And until then, first the intro.
All right, there we go. Now it works.
So what? The sound didn't start?
The sound didn't work at the beginning.
Well, yeah. In the German chat, we already had in the German stream an hour ago. We already had enough problems. If you want to have a laugh, jump over to the German one. But I will cut it out later. So if you are not seeing this live and you want to see it, too late. All cut out. Yes.
Right.
Yes, today we want to talk about several false shuffles. We want to give you another great routine from Nick Trost that I found in a very great book. We will come to this later, and we will talk about some false shuffles, false cuts, etc. Well, as you know, we most of the time have to shuffle a deck of cards. And interesting wise, there are different types of shuffling, and these are seen by spectators in different ways. A Riffle Shuffle for them is different to an Overhand Shuffle.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Funny wise, a Hindu Shuffle is somehow for us used to force the bottom card whatsoever. However, it's well known, if you would try to do a Riffle Shuffle or an Overhand Shuffle in India, or in Asia, they would look at you totally strange. For them, a Hindu shuffle is a normal shuffle. Okay. Really, it's so fun. Just recently, I saw a video from a guy in India, and he did this with a boy, and he was shuffling exactly Hindu. Okay. Perfect. So it really has its work because of that. Yes. Anyhow, we want to keep the full deck. I've never done a false Hindu shuffle. How is that? That could be interesting, right?
To force a card?
No, no. We were talking about
a false Hindu shuffle.
A false Hindu shuffle, so that you can keep the stack while doing a Hindu shuffle. That's something.
You could.
Only one. I think it's not that easy.
No, it's not easy.
Exactly. Wow.
I don't want to.
Right? We know so many techniques, from overhand shuffles, from riffle shuffles, table shuffles, etc., etc. But I've never seen something where we can control or do a false Hindu shuffle. We are only using Hindu shuffle in a different way. And for us in the Western world, we all are. When we see a Hindu shuffle, it's like, what is he doing there? It does not make sense. Exactly.
There,
It's funny, right? Yeah. It's like the technique of counting money in different countries.
Oh yes, yeah, that's true.
Right?
Yeah.
So
yes, that's the stuff that you are used to, right? The things you are used to are the things you won't really pay attention to.
Yeah, so for me, an overhand shuffle was what I learned as a child without being a magician. And for me, it is like that I always have my cards in my left hand, shuffling them into my right hand. However, I'm a right-handed person. And usually when you're a right-handed person, you are holding this in the right hand and shuffling it into your left hand, so that you then can deal with your right hand. How about you?
Same. So I would not have done this with my left hand. So I always did it with the right hand.
See, I cannot. I tried it when I had to relearn everything again.
Yeah.
I cannot switch now. I have to have it in my, and you are a right-handed person.
Yeah,
right?
I'm right-handed. Yeah.
my muscle memory is tricking me. I cannot go back.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's really crazy. So yeah, for me it is really overhand shuffling here, then taking it in my other hand to deal.
Oh,
So weird. So I'm a little bit lefty. Tiny bit left-handed.
Krass.
Yeah, yes. So anyhow, first we, what do we want to achieve? We have the deck of cards, and I keep this deck here as a reference. When you look at this one here, it is a completely unshuffled deck. And as you can see, we can certainly start with the jokers, then the spades that are here, hearts, diamonds, and clubs. And let's start with something that some of you, well, I guess if you are coming into this channel the very first time, then maybe you're not a magician yet and would love to turn into one. In that particular case, then please do the following. Leave a like.
very important.
Subscribe to this channel and get notified when we do this the next week. Then you might not even know what happens if you are cutting a deck of cards.
Right.
Because many people think, me too, until I turn into a magician.
You shuffle, right? That's what you think.
Exactly, that you're mixing the order of the cards when cutting the deck. And that's when a magician asks, so cut. Yeah, cut again. And another one. And another one. And nothing happens.
No.
Nothing happens during all these
That's
cuts.
a very important thing you have to understand. And I didn't know that in the beginning as well. So I was really like, when I heard that, I was like,
Really?
oh, sure. If you really think about it for the first time, then you start to understand how this works and why it works, and then you're like, oh, sure. But for a lay audience, that is definitely one type of shuffling a whole
convincer.
Yeah.
I know from Dennis Bear, for instance, because he is the king of false shuffles and stacks and all this, that he's a professional mathematician working at the university in Munich. That when he does all this crazy stuff and coming up with new ideas, new routines, etc., he's sitting on his floor and mixing cards. It's not random. It's like, okay, if I shuffle like this, then this and this and this happens. So he can set up things where he wants to go, how he gets there, etc., and then logically achieves a method how to do exactly what he wants to do, while pretending shuffling a deck or cutting or whatsoever. What is amazing. So what happens, for instance, if you have a specific stack that you have at the beginning, and maybe you have, let's say, you have 7 pharaohs or 6 pharaohs, the deck looks well shuffled. You do 1 or 2 more, then you get into a completely different setup. I'm sorry for the guys who don't know what a pharaoh shuffle is. It's an interweaving of the cards in a mathematical way. It looks like a riffle shuffle. It's not. And this brings the cards into a specific order, very mathematical and very logical. And then you end up with the stack where you want to be. And from there, you start false shuffling. That's the whole idea of false cutting. So one more time, when you cut a deck, you are certainly having another top and bottom card and change the position of the cards, but not the order.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's it.
You have to understand that, and that. So I really think cutting gives a very good feeling to the spectator that the deck is shuffled, even if it's not. So.
Now, what can mix the order is not one shuffle, but if you're saying, okay, we are cutting it in several piles, and now when I now pick up the cards in random order, then certainly something is at least, well, we still have stacks here that then will stay together. However, the order of the whole deck would then change. I hope I will remember what I did here, that I get back to what I need to. I hope I did. I did not. Did I? Yes, I did. Yeah, it's just one cut. Exactly. And that's where I need to go.
Right.
Yes. So,
nice.
If we go through several of the cuts or the shuffles, which one is your preferred one that you do? You don't, for instance, you use a table when you.
Yeah, right. So the thing is, I don't really use many false shuffles because I don't have the urge to prove that the deck is mixed. I usually get away with that. By the way,
here's the thing. How when you are booked and let's say we are doing table magic. That's when you're going from table to table, right? That's your favorite method.
Everything
most of the time.
Yeah.
Do you have a stack? Do you stay in that? Or are you mixing? Or do you have two
That really
decks?
depends. The problem with that is I give out cards as a souvenir. I leave cards behind all the time. So for that reason alone, I can't really handle a stack. So that not really works. Except if I want to do certain things, like let's say I use Cognito. I have a deck with Monica stack on me that I don't touch and where I don't give out cards.
And here's the thing, we didn't talk about this in the German stream. What is also a great false shuffle in the end is shuffling one deck and then exchanging it.
Doing a deck switch, that's a really good false shuffle, yeah.
It is really a good one, right?
It is,
don't pay attention to this. So how do you switch a deck of cards? Certainly there are methods where you're doing it right under the nose of a spectator. The coolest thing is if you're doing something else in between.
Right. Do just a different trick and then bring out the stacked card deck. Nobody will notice. Yeah, not at all.
Maybe a SpongeBob routine in between, or something with coins, or a ring, or whatsoever, and then you go back and here's another one, and you do this trick.
Right.
And then going back into the other stack, then certainly you will find another excuse why this deck then disappears, and you have another one out. You certainly can do this.
I mixed it. I'm sorry.
Did you?
I thought it was my stack, so I mixed it up. I'm sorry.
Give me my deck.
That's the reason. So I really thought it was mine.
Did you really do that?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Okay,
go for it. Then let me just explain my false shuffle that I do. I don't really have a name for it. That's one thing I do. It's more like cutting, and as I said it wrong in the beginning, it's not a swivel cut. It's a swing cut. I swing over one pack. I do it. Let me just do it in full speed. I do it like this.
You did two riffles, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Because that's a nice thing about as well. When you do two riffle shuffles, there's still a specific order to it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's now you know, but the guys here, or do they know? So I still, when I take out the cards, I still have, let's say, one color still in the same order. So that I then, if I want to remove it, I can now concentrate on the diamonds, for instance, and they will all have the same order.
I just wanted to test how fast you can sort
it.
Okay,
just continue talking.
Okay, let me just give you a little bit of an explanation for this. That's not something I do when a spectator burns my hands. That's one thing I do when I'm talking to the person. I can do it slow. I can do it a little bit faster. And everything you want to do here is you want to simulate throwing packs of cards into your other hand, and what you really do is you remain the top part and the whole deck in the same order. So how this is done? Which one did you use? Which setting? For
this one,
yeah.
the table.
Oh, the table. Yeah. So what you need to do? Turn over the top card here. It's the King of Spades. What you do in this case is you swing over one pack of the cards, have it in your left hand. Like this, do it with the next pile, swing it also over, and in this motion you're also going under the whole pack, grab the top pack, which is this one here, grab it with your ring finger, so like this, and at the same time you take over the other pack. Then you give this another swing over, and you're back to the position you started in.
Can you do this face up with this deck here?
Yeah. Riffle Shuffle or what?
Maybe let's see how this looks if you do this face up from there. I think that's if you do it here right here in this area, then.
Oh, shut up! Wait, it's
you want me to mix to sort it up
It's a
again.
different position.
No, it's not.
So
one more time.
That's right. Exactly. No, it's a different position for me. Like with the
okay,
hands
where
out,
to do this?
Like this, like let's say that.
Okay, and now slowly. I think this position, this camera is really good for this.
So
one more time, you're swinging over this
top
part.
packet. Take the second packet. It doesn't matter how big it is or small it is, but you swing this over, and while you do this,
with your ring finger, you're picking your ring finger and thumb. You're taking this other pack over.
Wait, hold on a second. No,
You're taking it with your ring finger.
No, have I done? Let me start over. If you do it slow, it's so different, right?
I know. When you separate, when you think about it, that's so difficult.
That's horrible.
I know.
That's exactly the thing you don't want to do. You train all the time not to think about it
Yeah.
and what you're doing, right? So you take over this pack, do it, grab the middle pack, then hold those 2 packs here, swing that one over, and you're back to normal. Like, have the whole deck in
Nice.
in the same stack.
Perfect. Certainly,
So-
you do this face down so that it's not.
Yeah, it would be the preferred thing. But I think you could also do it face up if you do it once or so. I don't know.
But
Maybe.
the nice thing is that the important thing is when you do false cuts, false shuffles, etc. You have to put this into your muscle memory so that you are able to do this without thinking. That's exactly how it should be.
Right.
And once you start thinking about it, then
You can't do
you're
it
screwing it
anymore.
up. Exactly.
That's true.
And this allows you then to look up and into the eyes of a spectator.
That's the important thing.
Because
yeah.
right, if I would shuffle somehow my deck, and I will not shuffle my deck because it's in order. And can I? It's nothing special, right? No. So if I would shuffle a deck of cards, I would now continue talking with you. Would not be concentrated in the cards because this is something that would be just done casually while concentrating on something else. This is how it should appear.
Yeah.
So therefore, you look up, and when you look someone into his eyes, he cannot usually look away.
Right. You want to bring away the heat from the deck to a regular conversation or whatever you want to do. It's just like you're doing something that's so natural and you don't have to be concentrated to do this.
By the way, that's a very interesting point. Do you know how big your view, focus view is when you're looking, in your eyes?
It's very tiny and very small.
Yes.
It's I can't really tell, but it's very very small and very tiny because I do some kind of bar bets.
Yeah.
That you would think afterwards if I had done this to you, how could I not see this?
Yeah. The cool thing is I can explain it to me. Tom Stone explained this in his lecture.
I'm curious. Yeah.
It is the size of your thumbnail.
Okay.
When you're doing like this is the only part that is sharp.
Yeah.
And when you're going down,
That's
then
true.
then your eyes go up. The rest is unsharp and not in focus.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, I know when someone is looking up, I can do something down there. He will see some movements, but not sharp.
Yeah,
so
not in
you
focus,
would
right.
notice you would notice that he really goes down to do something. Some people would say now you can push an elephant through the room.
What is true.
When he's looking at you, yes, absolutely, and this is really an interesting point. And there's another one, what is also very interesting, that is that your eyes and your brain are tricking you. Also an explanation from Tom Stone, that when you are looking, for instance, into the mirror and you look into your eyes, do you look into your eyes?
Yeah. Oh, stop it! I love this. Yeah. I love
you are
stuff like
not
this,
looking.
yeah.
Well, I mean, you're looking
Yeah.
into your eyes.
Yeah, I know.
But
what you
not
mean.
at the same time and into both. You can only look into one eye. And when you're either looking to the left one or to the right one, and if you are switching between both of them, then it appears that nothing in between happened, because it's either right or left, right or left. And so you would have to ask someone, here's a mirror, look into the mirror, look into your face. And while he's doing this, you have to watch his eyes to notice all these movements, because you yourself cannot see it. Your brain, while the eyes are moving from one to the other eye, there is something in between. But this moment from moving from one eye to the other one is invisible. Your brain is turning it off. There is nothing in between that you can see. That also means if you have this focus point and you're going from the card deck up to your face, there is nothing. That is impossible. Look there. Look into your hand and then look into the camera. There is nothing where you would see anything sharp in between. Your brain is shutting this off.
That's true. That's true.
You would be completely amazed. And therefore, there are only certain spots in a spectator's view where he can really focus on. And the more you grab his attention, it's not misdirection where we always think it's misdirection. This is direction. Where you are pulling his attention, what should happen, like crossing the gaze where you're looking over there, then I can do something over there. It's amazing. And people are following
and
your
that really
gaze.
Works, yeah.
Yeah, they're following
and
your gaze.
The more, one thing I found out is the more you are concentrated, the more focused it seems to get on especially one point. So you can do. So like, let's say when I meet you right now and I tell you, oh, look at this, it's like a little bit more of a broader area where you look.
Yeah.
And the more I tell you, watch this corner here, you used to get more focused on this area.
Yeah.
And everything around you is starting to blur out.
Plus
more
you do this, then you go up.
Yeah.
And you go down again. That is when you have exactly that moment where you can do whatever, a cut, whatsoever.
Yeah.
Because a spectator would not see it, because in this time there's so much motion of his eyes that you can hide everything.
It's a funny thing. If you think about these kind of things, it gives you so much.
Tom is he has thought about all this and he's using it to his advantage in full.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really awesome. And you can use it as well if you do your false shuffles, your false riffles, false cuts, etc. Just look up into the eye of the spectators, etc.
Yeah.
That really helps.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
By the way, come on, I'm distracting right now. Do you know, for instance, how Danny Ortiz is when he looks up into the audience, that when he wants you to you tell me a card, and he's looking to a certain area. So when I look at you and say, tell me a card, you would be announced, because now I'm looking into your face, ask, tell me a card. Oh, 6 of hearts. Yeah. Because you're telling me now 6 of hearts. If I don't want you in a group, if I don't want you to tell me the card, I would look there, as if there's someone behind you. Correct? So when tell me a playing card. Oh, 6 of hearts. Now you would say it must have been the other one. Yeah. Because
that's a great
he didn't look into my eyes, so he didn't mean me. So what Danny is doing, he's not looking into anybody's eyes. When there's let's say there's a room for the whole audience in different lines, in different rows, he's looking in the middle between two people into the crotch of another person behind them. So everybody he's looking at is thinking he must mean someone else. He's not talking to me, and that's when he can verbally force a card. Let's say, give me a card. Oh, 6 of hearts.
Really clever with that kind of stuff. That's really smart.
Gazes are important. I mean, the 5 points of the 5 points of magic. I think it's a book of Juan Tamariz. Is especially with the gaze, etc. Is a very important point that you can study in one of his books. Unfortunately, it's the best would be in Spanish. Yeah. And the translation, I don't even know if it exists. Not for no. I'm just saying. 5 points in magic. That's it. Yeah. So, and as everybody is studying in Spain, the school and the knowledge of Juan Tamariz, that's what everybody knows there, and they do it. Now. Nice. Okay. Back to the cuts, back to the false shuffles, etc. Right. If you would do a riffle shuffle, what would be your favorite false riffle shuffle?
So I can't really do the riffle shuffle that I would like to do. It's the truffle shuffle. That's a fake riffle shuffle in the hands. It's really hard to do, at least for me. I have not tried to get it to a point where I would use it all the time, but that would be my preferred way to do it when I do the riffle shuffle.
I'm not okay. The Truffle Shuffle is the name. If you want to look into this, give it a go. There is certainly, I don't even know if the Truffle Shuffle is from Karl Hein or not.
I think it is. I really think it is.
Other than that, he has also the Heinstein Shuffle. That is must be something similar or very very close. I think he has a whole DVD out there only with false shuffles in riffle shuffle technique.
To me, the Truffle Shuffle looks like the most realistic thing. You can't really get anything. So,
it's like
it's
especially when you do this the 2-time shuffle where you're shuffling the first time, and then a second time, the second time, and that's when you are
So good.
unshuffling more or less, right? You're shuffling and unshuffling it, and it looks like
But
100%.
it's really like a finger breaker. Like you have to put.
Not for me. And
put a lot of
when
work in it, yeah.
I hate Carl for this. He's just
No,
too
but,
good.
but it's really good.
Yeah.
But otherwise, if I had a table, let's say I would have to do it on the table. I would do a table riffle shuffle. I riffle the cards.
Can I do it from the
Into
top?
each
Because
other.
I think. Okay.
Yeah,
Come on over
let me
here.
just try it here.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start again. It's not in order, the stack, but the thing. It doesn't matter right now.
Okay.
I think it's more about the technique. What you do is you riffle the cards into each other, and then everything you need to do is push the both packs into each other. So you have like, it's a little bit over exaggerated, but it's more or less like.
Yeah, but this corner is now coming out again on
Right.
the other side, so that you
and
now
you can grab it here. I think is it the zero shuffle? I'm not too sure. You then pull it out again and give it just a cut, and you're back to normal. The only thing you have to really watch out is which one was the top and which was the bottom pack.
It would still be just a cut and not a
Right.
shuffle.
It would
right?
just be a cut.
Now let's
And
do this because here with the angle from the top, it's something like, too obvious, right?
Yeah,
Now
if you do
let's do it
fast.
from the front, and then when you see this here, look at that.
Oh wait, hold on. There's
Yeah,
one
go for
card
it.
like this, and then you cover it by here, and it looks like you're squaring up the deck, and you just give it a cut.
Now and here's the thing: it
Do
can
it
be
again.
squared up. Do the riffle, then the push through, and then stop
so.
when you have the parts.
Like
and-
so.
Yes, and now
Yeah.
take off your hands. Exactly. So what you see is here, there's more or less 2 steps that are covered by holding your hands like that. Therefore, nobody can see it. For them, it looks like a normal riffle.
Right. And then you.
A riffle, including a cut.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you can just pull out the cards again, like so. Give it a cut, or do it to the front, however you want to do it. What's your favorite way of mixing it together? So I think it really looks good. If you do it fast and in one motion, fluid, then it looks better. You have to give it some time. But the most important thing is, I think it's more important to do it smooth as to do it fast. So I think you have a little bit of misdirection when you're talking to a person like this, and then give it a cut, and
Yeah.
you're back in order.
I like to do because I never really trained it, and sometimes, well, first of all, for this one here, that's the Rosetta Shuffle technique.
Yeah, that's
That
very good,
is
yeah.
a very, very cool technique. I don't know if it was invented by Leonard Green,
Me neither.
or if he just studied it very deeply and talks about it a lot. And so what Leonard Green searched or studied was how many shuffles would be needed until a spectator would say, I believe that this
I'm
deck is well
convinced.
shuffled.
Right?
Yes. So with a riffle shuffle, I think he needs four times a riffle shuffle. With a overhand shuffle, he's happy with 3 or something like that. And the fun, interesting part is with the Rosetta Shuffle, 1 single shuffle is only needed.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
it really looks good.
Yeah.
be
So
honest,
let me
yeah.
do 1 false Rosetta Shuffle and then 1 Rosetta Shuffle to show you that even that one could be of interest.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
So what you do is you cut about the half. I'm doing it with the top camera now. So I cut the deck more or less in half. It doesn't really matter. Now you are giving it a twist like so that it really looks very chaotic. And now the usual idea would be you would push the cards together like so. Okay, that is nothing different than a riffle shuffle by a spectator who cannot do a riffle shuffle, because that's also what you then explaining. Well, it's how you interweave cards. Now, all I would have to do now to do the same thing, but to force it, is how can I make that these cards will not interweave, but are more or less back into a cut position, but still look chaotic. And all I have to do is I'm taking 1 card and I'm pushing it over to the top, sliding it onto the bottom of everything, and now all the cards would go, I have to go for the top, So when you're pushing this one underneath, then all the other cards will fall on top. And now when you're pushing like so, you will they would believe that the cards would have been kind of mixed, but it was only really a cut. And the convincing part is this one here. When you're grabbing all the whole pack up, it looks so chaotic because of this motion, and now squaring up everything. That's
so
what
good,
looks so convincing. But there's nothing. It's just that the cards have to be all aligned again, but the order definitely is still the same, right?
Looks
so
good.
certainly there was a cut, but nothing else. Now let's do this with the real Rosetta Shuffle, and I'm doing it in a way to show it to you in an easier way. So let's say we are now separating the red cards, going from ace to king and king to ace, and the black cards going from, let's also from ace to king and king to ace, like so. We ignore the jokers, so here we go. So we have 2 times these packs, and we do again a Rosetta Shuffle. And as you now know, 1 Rosetta Shuffle already is seemingly enough for a spectator. Okay, so now we are pushing the cards together like so. We really interweave them somehow. And now the interesting part is when I'm now doing the whole thing and spread it out, then it wasn't so much that really changed here. Look at this. All the black cards are still in the right order from ace 2, 3 up to the king, and from king to ace, and with the red cards the same thing. The order is still the same, so there's nothing where a 7 was mixed with a 6, etc., or completely lost his position. So getting out of this stack or so, or using this stack, is really convincing. So
This is, yeah, but you, even if you're a magician, you have to wrap your head around to get to understand how this works and
Yes.
how you could use this.
Yes.
Most of all.
And I think, yeah, so, and I think you can do it even a second time, and you would still have a certain order doing it. So if I think, if I'm separating here, let's say with the kings and the 2 kings, and let's try it one more time. I hope I'm true. I'm right. It's a little bit late when I did all this. Then you still should have a specific order that can be found inside this deck.
Yeah, still 2, 3, 4, 5. You
No.
mixed up a little bit there.
Say no. We go through clubs. Ace, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh yeah,
6,
confused with
7,
with
8,
Yeah, it's still there.
9, 10, Jack, Queen, and King. So
It's still there.
every suit will still have the same the same order. Certainly not in a row, but they are still in a certain order, and you can use that stack if you need to. Yeah, that's a Rosetta Shuffle. You gotta give it a try. It's really good.
It really is.
Yeah. So while you are now showing the next one, I can bring this one back
where were we?
into order.
That's the question right now.
Truffle Shuffle we did. The false overhand.
The false overhand shuffle. There are different ways of doing it. I do a version of Patrick Redford. I wanted to say Robert Redford. That's not.
I know.
That's actually not correct. Yeah. Of Patrick Redford, I can't really teach it here. You have to figure that out. It is. I think it's in his book. Applesauce. Is this applesauce? I'm not too sure right now. We can tell you a little bit later. But there are different ways because so. My thinking is the more flashy things, the less flashy things I do when I'm doing magic, the less the spectator thinks I'm having real skill with the cards. So I got away from doing. So the fanciest thing I do is the Riffle Shuffle, but I prefer doing an overhand shuffle because to me that looks, at least where we live, it looks like the most common shuffle you could do. Everybody could do it, and so I thought to myself, and I found some overhand shuffle that are false, and I used this all the time. So there's a really easy way. I think it's the milk shuffle. You do it like so. You start with a top card. Let's say you can choose how many cards you want to.
Want to keep this one?
I can do
face
it.
up then.
Yeah, I can do it with this one. You can do it with how many cards you want to. Let's say you do it with 5 cards. Everything you do is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You take these cards, put it back behind, put the bigger pile behind this little stack, and do the same again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and do the same again, and you're back to normal order. If you do this in a conversation, like everyone's convinced that you have done a real shuffle there. And you have to get used to it, so you don't.
The sound is nice.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's one really good thing. I do it a little bit more advanced with the one from Patrick Redford, but this is also really convincing. So
Yeah.
it's one of my favorites. Yeah.
And what is also nice if you are doing it with a certain rhythm pattern, like 3-2-3 or so. That's for instance
that's
what
really
Henry
good.
Evans
So you
does.
don't exactly. So you don't have to count through it if you have a rhythm pattern.
Yeah.
Like it's say 1, 2, 3,
So-
little pause. Then you do another one. That's even more convincing because you eliminate the idea of counting cards there.
Exactly. So I just did 10. That means 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and I didn't have to count. And I'm back into. Did I? I think I milked one over here. So here we go. That's the whole stack. Back to order. That's the false.
But that's to me the most convincing of them all. I love the overhand shuffle because it doesn't give too much attention to the deck. So I like stuff like this. That's a really good one. Then we have a false cut. A little bit of a false cut. A very easy way. Do you have another one that you?
Well, my favorite, the one that fooled my sister all the time. It is like if you take the deck of cards. That is so weird because here's the ace of spades. I'm cutting and it's still the ace of spades on top, and it's so weird because all I'm doing is I'm swing cutting a part over. Means I am taking the cards into Hamilton count position or whatever, what it is called, this one here.
Not sure.
Then I'm picking up a part with my index finger, like so. And now I'm pushing this one over to the other hand that waits. So I'm pushing it over, that leaves me the other bottom half. Now I'm bringing this bottom half to the back, over the other pack.
That's so crazy.
Goes there,
Yeah.
and then the second one. So you have this motion. So how it would, I mean, if it would be a real one, it would be you're taking the top, you're bringing it onto the table and putting this. This would be a real cut. One more time. You're taking it, goes there, and the other one on top. So when you're faking it, you're swinging it over, do this and that. Now it looks exactly the same. So it's really a good convincing.
If you don't handle cards all the time, I think it really is convincing. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially when we are doing it in a way where we are talking and not focusing on the cards, etc.
Yeah,
then
100%.
it's 100% sure. But you also do it with.
Yeah, I do it as a standard way, like I swing over a pile of this, push those cards together as if I would square them, and throw it back on top. So very easy to do, very convincing. I've never been caught once with that, honestly. So I do this not if the spectator is focused 100% on the deck. I would not do this cut, but in a conversation I would do like this, and just like. The most important thing to me is that the cards are like you leave them like this on the table. This itself says.
But I have to say, when I'm looking up into your face, I hear that you're doing something there, and I know there has to be something with cutting because I hear something where you square something up, and you're putting something on the table, let it drop.
And you're not looking at me, so
no way.
having any
and
control.
I think if you're a spectator and you're not if you don't know a lot about playing cards, what is
You have no idea
more
what's
and more
going on
difficult nowadays because nobody is playing cards anymore, only poker, and that's it. So it should really go under the radar.
Absolutely, it does.
Yeah,
it really does.
So do we have several other things?
Yeah, the one thing that we forgot also we did not forget in the German stream, but there are different things you must think about if you need the top stock retention or the bottom stock retention, or you want to leave the whole deck in the same order as you started in. There's also false cut that you can use when you just, let's say you just need the top card to remain in the position like this. There are different ways of doing this. If I would have a little stack on top, the thing I do is I give it a little cut like this, then I riffle it together, and that's everything it takes.
That was certainly. We did not talk yet about that sometimes or in many routines we have to keep certain cards on the bottom or on the top in order, so that they are staying there, that they don't move. And we don't have to completely false shuffle everything.
Right.
We are just keeping a specific part in order, and the rest can be shuffled like crazy. And this one was the first one with the Riffle Shuffle, where you are controlling what you want to do. In that particular case, you want to save some cards on top.
On top, and you could also do it on top and on the bottom. However you want to. You need to get it some work into it. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Let's say you would like to keep the bottom card here and the top card here. Then you start with the right pile, riffle some cards, then you riffle the left pile, and then do it like this.
Making
and
sure, yeah. So that
very easy.
You have to pay attention on what drops first, what drops last, and if you have already your package, let's say if it's 5 cards, then I would cut a little bit deeper to be sure that the other stack is already gone when you're coming to the last 5 cards, so that it's really not like focusing on a specific pile, but it's because the cards ran out.
Right.
Then
And to me, the most important thing is when you're doing false shuffles, do it naturally. You don't need to think about it. It's very important that you don't do like this or so. You really need to do it flawless. You need to know what side you take the top pile to, and you don't really need to think about it. I could talk to you easy right now. I could mix it up. I don't even have to watch one time, and I could do the shuffle. And
that's a nice thing when you see Richard Turner. He's always always doing this, training his hands,
so good,
etc. So why not annoying your best your loved one by having a deck of cards, shuffling a lot, certainly false shuffles, and during a Netflix movie.
Right? She always get angry there.
Yeah, so why not? Or watch one movie by yourself. That distracts you also a lot, so that you don't have to focus there because you're watching the movie while doing it, and sometimes it works. Maybe you're also starting with a real shuffle, so that you get used to how it should look like.
Yeah.
And so that you then can mimic what a good shuffle would look like, and then you certainly do the false one and fool yourself. That's the best way to do it.
Awesome. You also have a trick, right?
Yes, in that one is also one false shuffle included. Actually 2. Well, one that you already showed. Well, we just do it.
Let's go.
What we are doing is it's from this book. I want to show this one more time, or I didn't show it yet. So this is the Subtle Card Creations. I picked this one here. That's from Nick Frost, volume number 4. Because it's volume number 4, the first pages are not starting with 1, 2, etc. But starts with 500 something, and the routine that I'm showing you right now is actually
611.
Exactly. So it would be this one here, the More Royal Marriages. We are talking about the Another Royal Marriages routine. I highly recommend it. But if you are not the one who likes to read and understand, maybe you get it here with me. We are going through this routine right now. What you're doing here is you are removing all the queens and kings. Certainly that's a little bit easier because this deck was not shuffled anymore. Okay, so we have all these cards. We don't need any more. Means 1, the queen here, the kings here. All good. 4 kings, 4 queens. That's it. And then we start shuffling. So the first phase is the following. I will spread through the pack, and I want you to point to any 4 cards that you are selecting 4 cards of those.
I'll take these 2 and these 2.
Are we talking about these?
Yeah.
And about
exactly
these, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm selecting these 4 cards that are your selection, and we have a look. Do they still match? That means, is a king always finding a queen? We'll find out. So yes, here's a king and a queen. Again, a king and a queen. Again, king and queen. No king. So no queer things going on. It's really everything is straight how it should be. We have kings, we have queens, always in pairs. So far, so good.
Nice.
Now we are giving them another shuffle. Means, I hope it's correct, yeah. So you can cut wherever you like, let's say.
There.
Interesting. So what this will be now is the Hummus Cut and turn over. That certainly that's not what you're announcing to the spectator that we're doing now.
Better not.
Exactly. So what it is that you're wherever you cut, you're taking the top 2 cards, turn them around. We do it again anywhere. It could be 1 card or whatever. So you always take the top 2 cards and turn them around. It could be in between like this, and you turn them around. You know, some face down, some face up. You get the idea, all well mixed. So far so good. Now this goes into the spectator's hand under the table. That's what I'm doing right now in front of you so that you can follow a little bit. And what he has to do is cut one more time, okay? And then doing this motion, this move down under, what is called. That means he puts under downs, whatever. The top card goes underneath and the first card goes down, okay? Then you do it again. As long as it is face up, you're putting it onto one pile. If it is face down, it goes onto another pile. And you're doing it 4 times, like so. And you're left with the rest 4 cards. You're turning this, the spectator has to turn this over, gives it one more shuffle, and then repeats the whole thing. This card then again goes onto this one, and onto this one, and that means that these 2 cards are staying here. And you can already imagine that now here you have the 4 kings and here are the 4 queens. Very simple, very easy, right?
Nice.
Exactly. So we do it one more time, giving a shuffle whatsoever.
That's the third phase.
Yeah.
Right.
Again we are cutting, and now I would reveal the cards in a specific way that I will pick always 2 cards, right? So let's say I take these 2. Let's see. They are matching. I go for these 2, and they are matching, and these 2 again.
Nice.
And again, it's always the same colors. Everything is in perfect place. So last but not least, you can shuffle it one more time. It doesn't matter. And give it a cut one more time. I hope I did it right. Should I do a cut? Yeah, I think so, yes. And I'll try one more time. Again, I'll bring it a little bit away, but you can see me in the small window. And then I can take out the cards and magically separate all the 4 kings, all the 4 queens to finish the whole routine. This is our 4 phases. You can stop after 1, after 2, whatsoever, or don't do the last phase. And it's really, really simple if you remember the steps.
I think this is really good for storytelling. I really see this routine when you do a storytelling in between there.
Royal marriages, right?
Right, you can do it with a very it takes a few minutes. So you have a quite solid routine there.
And it's and some points it's really baffling, even for magicians. Certainly you can see several moves that we are doing there. And we are now starting the explanation for this one here. So what you're doing is you're removing the 4 queens and the 4 kings, and when you're removing them, you are placing the kings and the queens separately on top of each other. That means the kings and the queens are now separated. Here comes the first false shuffle, and with 8 cards is very simple. You're milking off 4 cards, drop the rest on top. And you can already imagine, I do it a second time and I drop the rest on top. That changes nothing because we are still having the 4 kings and the 4 queens separated on the table. The nice thing is, and this is already kind of baffling, that it really doesn't matter which cards you select. It could be any alternating one, let's say, right, like these 2. Then we maybe take the 2 bottom ones, right? Now all you do is you're out jogging them, that is the 4 cards that the spectators pointed to, and you're removing them from the top to the bottom and putting them one by one onto the table, like so. Right, that looks fair, but what you really did right now is reversing these 4 cards, because you took them one by one from the top, and now this one is the bottom. It doesn't matter. If I'm showing you, it's automatic. it will always be a king and a queen. It doesn't matter if the king would be here or there, but when you turn them around, it's always a king, a queen. And when you're turning them over, you can already keep them in your hand, because what you're doing right now is you are secretly bringing the cards in an alternating order, meaning it's always a king, a queen, a king, a queen. That was phase number 1, showing all the kings matching with the queens, but in the end you're already ending with this specific order. Now what you're doing is a Chalier Shuffle. The Chalier Shuffle is that it looks random. What you're doing is, no, that was not again. So you're pushing a few cards on top. When you're pushing cards on the bottom, you're bringing them from the bottom, correct? No. No, exactly not. When the bottom
was
cards,
a mistake, right?
Yes, exactly. So you're pushing a few cards from the top. Then, if you want to put cards on top, you're taking them from the bottom. If you want to put them on the bottom, you're taking them from the top. The bottoms go to the top, and the other way around. That means you can do it over and over again. That right means like this, some to the bottom. It doesn't matter how many it is. It looks like shuffling, but what you're doing is more or less just a cut. Means the cards should still be in alternating order, and I'm not. I already fooled myself again when I'm explaining it one more time.
It's hard to follow.
Yeah, so here we go from there to there. Let's try this. Please be right.
Looks
yes,
good.
It is. Yes.
Yes.
It's always when you stop explaining something, then this automatic motion is just somehow not working. Now I did this cut. Now comes this Hummus Cut and turn over,
which is clever.
Yes, it is, and it really doesn't matter. Somewhere there will be a cut, and you are taking the top 2 cards, turning them around. So either when you're doing this, you are turning a queen and a king over. Let's go here like this, a queen and a king. They will now switch. I don't know why this works, but even if I'm going in between and turning these 2 over, what happens? Actually nothing. It's still a king with a king or a queen with a king.
I did not really actually understood it yet, 100%. But
I don't know. It's just working. So if you do it, then let the spectator cut one more time. That's it. And now comes the motion that we are doing, where we are separating the cards. So if you're looking at it, you see that. Well, we just try. Means one goes underneath. And one onto the table, one underneath, one onto the table. When it is the other way around, it goes onto another pile. Again. So far so good. We already know that all the cards that are face up will be the queens. All the cards that are face down will be the kings. Now, what is left over? The opposite of it. All we have to do now is turning this packet over. Give it any shuffle, it doesn't matter, because nothing really happens here. Because all we need is putting all of these cards that will be now selected one by one onto the table. Those go on here, this goes there, and certainly that's it. Nice. Meaning you get 4 queens here and the 4 kings over there. Now comes a secret move. What I have to do is I'm picking up either the queens or the kings, it doesn't matter, while showing those. I'm now mimicking the order that I'm seeing here. That means we have the diamond on the bottom, then the spades and clubs, and finally the hearts. And this then goes together like so. And again, we would do now Chalier Shuffle. We already know a few cuts over from the bottom, from the top. What it is, it's just a cut, right? It really doesn't matter where the cut would be. Let's say this is the cut. And all I'm now doing is, when you're looking at the cards, oh well, that's even too easy. Let's do this, okay? What really happens is that the 2 colors are always away 4 cards.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if the king is, or if all the 4 queens also are on top or so.
So funny.
It really doesn't matter, because it's always that the order of the colors is always 4 cards away, because it's a cut.
That's smart,
right?
Yeah.
So when you now separate the 8 cards, into 2 piles and you do this under the table, then you have the cards like so, and all you have to do is you take one from there, and you automatically bring them all together.
That's so funny, yeah. That's good.
Right?
That's my favorite part about this.
It's really cool, right?
Yeah.
And so that's all you do, like so and so. As you can see now, I need again the order alternating king, queen, king, queen. And we would do now another Chalier shuffle whatsoever. You know what it means. It's a cut, right? And all you now secretly have to do is an anti-pharaoh, what is an alternation like so, under the table, right? To show quickly, very, very quickly, all the queens, all the kings separated like so. And they're already set up like so, and you can remove them.
Very nice.
Very simple. This certainly has to be under the table so that you're not showing what you're doing there.
Yeah.
But you have the full control over all the cards. What is really, really cool, you do a lot of false shuffles. A spectator will always think there's no way how to control all the cards.
Yeah.
But you keep the full control all the time. That's the nice part
if you
about
have
it.
this sold with a story, I think it can really be strong.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
So even if I learned this earlier today, I think I will really try this later over and over again, because it's really, it has potential, and would love to keep this in my mind for the future.
Tomorrow it's forgotten.
I hope not.
That's
hope not.
The sad truth about stuff like this.
If you don't repeat it, then certainly yes.
That's the problem with it.
But the nice thing is, if you are doing it and want to show it to your family and your friends,
then
you are practicing your Chalier shuffle, you are practicing the false shuffle, and so on and so on. So there are certain techniques already included, and when you're doing this, you're incentivizing yourself into practicing some of your shuffles so that you can do this for your friends and family.
Well said.
Right?
Well said.
And
Very
even
well
if you're forgetting the whole routine, you still have the Chalier shuffle at the end.
That's true.
Right? Well, thank you so
Nice.
much for joining us. And if you're seeing it live, perfect. Thank you very much. If you please want to comment or so, leave a comment. We are reading everything. What do you want us to teach you? What do you want us to show?
If you have any ideas, let us know in the comments down below. If you want to, if you would say like, do something totally different, please comment down below. We are always curious what you guys think. We try to improve on the stream.
Read all the comments. Read all the comments.
And yeah.
Oh, by the way, next
feedback,
week we are still here streaming live because the week after I will not be there.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, because I will be at Magic Live. If you are there, please come over, say hi. Would love to see you there. You will be at home again. I hope you and Philo will be able to do the Monday live stream in 2 weeks then.
I think so.
And I will be back. Seemingly, I'm not sure when I will fly back. I have not booked my flights yet.
I don't want to hear.
Yes, so
I don't want to hear.
it will be fun. So either way, thank you so much for joining us. We will see us again in a week. If you are new to this channel, please do us a favor, like this video, subscribe to this channel,
and the bell.
Hit the bell, because then you will get you will be notified when we are coming back next Monday, all the time, all the same time. If you want to be live, otherwise you certainly have a full week to watch it until a new video shows up. That's our pleasure to serve you. Thank you. See you in a week.
Have a great week.
Until
See
then,
you next Monday.
have
Bye.
fun with the routine. Ciao.
Bye bye.